Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming out tonight. Welcome to our webinar, and thank you for taking time out of your busy evening to join us. Before we get started, I'd love to do a quick AV check. If you can hear me, can you please type a 1 into the chat box, or just I can hear you into the chat box so that we know everything is up and running? Awesome. Thank you, Jordan, Kim, Belda. Thank you, guys. Um, so yeah, welcome to Please Don't Think That's Normal. This is our Gut Healing Masterclass, and I am just so excited to be here with you guys tonight. My name is Jenny Askew. I'm the owner of the Nutrition Clinic for Digestive Health, and I'll talk more about myself in a little bit so you can get to know me, but I'm a dietitian with a master's in nutrition and additional training in integrative and functional medicine with a focus in digestive health. And who here, you can use the raise your hand button or a that's me or a 1 in the chat again, has been told that their digestive problems are normal. And even worse, that they might be all in your head or that you just have to live with them or, it's just stress. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So we work with a lot of people like that, and we're totally here for you tonight. We want to help you start solving your digestive problems so that you can get your life back. And I'm going to do everything I can in my power tonight to make this a truly life-changing experience for you. And I would really love for tonight to be the next step forward on your gut healing journey. Yes, you just have to live with it. It's so frustrating, right? I hear you, Benita. We get that a lot with our clients. So you're definitely in the right place. So congratulations on taking time to join this workshop. Way to go, you. My hope is that the step you took to join this workshop is going to put you on the path to finally solving your digestive problems. Tonight, we're going to be talking about things that you can do right away to start solving digestive problems. And these are things that will help anyone struggling, and they're often overlooked. And even if you think you've tried everything, the things that we're going to talk about and recommend tonight will definitely help. So just to set expectations about healing journeys and what it really looks like to heal the gut. Healing journeys are not linear. There's progress and then there's setbacks and there's a little more progress and then, another setback. And they take time. So healing the gut on average takes about 6 months. And when it comes to healing the gut, we'll see progress before perfection, and that's okay. If we continue making progress, eventually we will achieve perfection and better gut health. So, for some of you, if you currently have diarrhea 12 times a day, just moving into 6 times a day of pooping would be a huge improvement. And if you're on the other end of that and you're constipated, maybe having a bowel movement every other day would be a win, where you're currently having one, once every 7 to 10 days. So, depending on where you are, progress is going to look different for everyone, but let's just set expectations that things probably aren't going to heal overnight. Like I said, on average, it takes 6 months for the gut to heal, but I've even seen it take some people years, depending on what caused your problem and how you got there and what you've been doing to fix it. It's different for everyone, but just to set the tone, right, progress, and just expect it to take some time. And the fact that you are here tells me that you want to feel better and you're not giving up to until you get some answers. And yeah, John, I'm with you. With the stomach acid, it was never tested, and she just jumped to the conclusion that you're overproducing. So that's interesting. We can talk about that later. We're actually going to have a live Q&A session for you guys at the end, so definitely stick around for that. But most of you here are probably like John, like you've been to doctor after doctor with no real answers as to why you don't feel well. And you're probably high functioning with a chronic but not debilitating health issue. And your lab work probably comes back normal, which is probably a relief, but probably also frustrating because you're working to figure out what's wrong, right? And you want answers. And you've probably tried solving digestive problems on your own with things like elimination diet, the low FODMAP diet. probiotics, fiber supplementation, and are just realizing that you need some guidance. Yes, gastroparesis, that's something that we work with a lot, so we can talk about that during the Q&A. Yeah, acid reflux surgeries and constipation, that actually makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we can talk about kind of the hows and whys of some of those things later. So you guys definitely stick around to the end and we'll look at that. And this is not for you. Our process, our programs working with us is not for you if you're not willing to make significant dietary changes. Sometimes food is what gets people stuck, and we're here to help you move through that. All foods in moderation doesn't work for everyone, and there will probably be things that if you're working with one of our dietitians, we will ask you to remove at least temporarily from your diet to see if we can help you get improvement. If you don't have 1 to 2 hours a week to dedicate to self-care, you probably don't want to work with us because, in terms of self-care, it doesn't have to be complicated. We're talking about things like meal prep, being prepared to meet with us at least once or twice a month, and working on actual lifestyle changes. And then if you're not open to advanced functional testing and supplementation when needed, we might not be a great fit. We do use testing to get to the root cause of what's causing your digestive problems. Answers from testing helps us help you get better faster instead of guessing, or we actually have answers. And then our supplement recommendations are always going to be individualized, but they are typically part of our protocol. And yes, this is being recorded. And John, yes, I think you're going to really love tonight. I hope you get a lot of value out of it. So take a minute to just kind of think about what life would be like without digestive problems, right? Tonight we're going to talk about what's possible if you remove the barriers that are preventing you from finally solving your digestive problems.
Sorry, everyone. I'm going to wait just 1 second until Jenny hopefully pops back in. I'm Erica, one of the dietitians as well. Maybe we should just jump in and introduce ourselves, Katherine, as we're waiting here. So I'll start out. My name is Erica. I'm one of the team members. I've been a dietitian almost 20 years, and my last decade's been really around functional and integrative nutrition. And this work got really personal for me about 10 years ago when my daughter was diagnosed with autoimmune issues, and she had her own gut health challenges. And walking through that experience as a parent really changed how I see health, healing, and the way we care for our body. And it taught me how to look beyond symptoms and really understand what's going on beneath the surface. Outside of work, I'm a mom to teenagers, which means a life full of games, school events, and family time. We love to travel, and I do genuinely enjoy the kitchen. Not every dietitian does, but I love experimenting with putting ingredients together and figuring out how to make food healthy and enjoyable. So I bring that same kind of balance into my practice. I believe it really needs to be personalized, but science-based. And just bringing all those things in together really to help you real life make these changes. Whether you're juggling with family, work, stress, I mean, we all have these things that are very overwhelming. So how do you add now this in more intensive gut healing? So I love helping people navigate that.
Yes.
How about you, Katherine?
Oh, thanks, Erica.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Katherine. I'm also a dietitian here at the nutrition clinic. Good. Looks like Jenny's back. I'll finish just is that okay, Jenny, if I just finish? Okay. So yes, I'm a dietitian. I have a master's in nutrition and exercise physiology with additional training and integrative approaches to digestive health. And in addition to digestive health, I also have a special interest in women's health and fertility and autoimmune conditions. Similar to like Erica said, my passion for this work comes from a personal experience too, like a lot of dietitians, and for years struggling with a lot of gut issues, health problems with just being told things were normal. I was young, everything was fine, come back when I got sicker. And I just decided to do a different route, and I started going on a more functional route where healing became possible. On a personal note, I live near Charleston, South Carolina, with my husband and my 2 Australian shepherds. So you can find me at the beach or, at a coffee shop or taking a spin class. That's about me in a nutshell. So thanks, everybody.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, y'all. Thank you guys for filling in the gaps. I don't know what I would do without my team. Um, so yeah, we just want to think about, like, with our clients, it's not that you can't solve your digestive problems because you're not willing or motivated. A lot of times it's just you haven't found the right person that has the knowledge and the expertise and the resources that you need to help you. So tonight we're going to be sharing 3 simple things that you can start doing right away to start improving your digestive health. And you definitely do not want to miss these. Even if you think you've tried everything, these things that we're going to share are really impactful and often overlooked. Um, and if nothing else, I want you guys to think about it this way. Solving your digestive problems, whether it's with the help of my team or someone else, it adds years onto your life, right? Because underlying digestive issues is inflammation, and inflammation underlies all of the scary things: cancer, heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune conditions, you name it. Inflammation is playing a part, and it's exacerbated by digestive problems. So we really want to be thinking about not just the digestive system, but the entire body and how we're being impacted by that. So if you stay until the end, you're going to get more insight as to why you haven't been able to fully solve your digestive problems. You're going to learn how to start uncovering root causes of digestive problems so you can fix them. And then we're going to talk about 3 things you can do right away to start solving digestive issues. We have over $1,000 in bonuses and savings exclusively for attendees tonight if you stay until the end. And then we've got a live Q&A session. So, as you guys can see, we function really well as a team. One of my favorite parts of every week is that we all get together and go through client cases. I wouldn't be able to do anything that I do without Erica, Katherine, and Jordan, so I'm just super thankful for them. And every Monday, like I said, we're meeting and sharing client wins and also talking about anything that clients are struggling with and kind of brainstorming together on how to help people solve that. So after completing traditional dietetics education, all of us have gone on to pursue additional training in integrative and functional nutrition. We're conventionally trained dietitians, so we have kind of that lens and appreciate conventional medicine, but then we also have the functional training and can look at things a different way. So it's a really awesome combination. And we have relationships with lots of different healthcare practitioners. We're especially well established in the Atlanta area. That's where I am. And we have, I mean, physicians, therapists, dentists, osteopaths, chiropractors, all these people that we work with and know who to refer to for, different specialty areas. If there's a need that's outside of our scope, we're going to make sure that you're able to find the right provider to help you get better. And we are virtual, so we can work with just about anyone, anywhere, which is really cool. That really helps a lot that we can have that reach to more people. So a little bit more about me. I am, like I said, a dietitian. I have a master's of science in nutrition. I did additional 3 years of integrative and functional nutrition training. My undergraduate's in kinesiology, which is exercise and movement. And I did personal training for a while. I'm also a cancer survivor, a wife, and a mom, and I've been in private practice for over 12 years. Katherine, do you need to add anything, or did you do all of your intro when I was cut out of the webinar?
I think I just forgot to say what my favorite part of the job was, but yeah, just connecting the dots and helping people go from confusion to clarity and, get them closer to healing. That was all that was left.
Awesome. Thank you. Erica?
I covered myself as well, so you can jump on to the next slide. Okay, so I get to share a really cool patient that I've had. Her name is Mary, just this remarkable 60-year-old woman who really just exemplifies the power of perseverance, prioritizing health, despite facing so many health challenges, as you can see here, she refused to let those conditions define her. She came to me just feeling really trapped by her symptoms. She even knew every single bathroom stop on her way to work. And in her own words, she was just tired of being afraid of not having access to a bathroom, tired of feeling terrible, and having to sit up due to her acid issues. She just felt very frustrated by her inability to also feel good, achieve her weight goals. And on top of it all, during these 3 months that we worked together, she was diagnosed with tendonitis, had a car accident, extreme stress at work. She changed jobs, and she had a fall that caused a concussion. So through all of this, we did stool testing and food sensitivity testing. Before we got the results back from those, we started just a few quick diet changes, and it significantly reduced her bowel issues. So then we continued to improve things from what we found out on the testing. And I helped her through the concussion symptoms. She had a lot of histamine reactions. And then towards the end, she was able to lose the weight that she was really frustrated by. And 3 months later, you can see it was just in that amount of time working together. What we had done is targeted dietary and lifestyle modifications, but supplements were a really big piece of this, and mindset support. Each session was definitely a coaching session with her. We talked about her health routine, and she just saw such a dramatic turnaround. She regained control. That was like a big thing for her. She improved her sleep quality. That's so important for healing. And like I said, broke through that weight loss goal. And so you can see we addressed root cause issues. Those specialty tests make such a difference. And when you can see what is dysfunctional, that's when the body can heal, when you can give it those right inputs. It restored her confidence and quality in life. And I hope you can kind of see, and you're going to see others tonight, but this is just hopefully some hope, a glimmer of hope for you, that even with multiple health conditions and personal things going on, improvements really are possible.
Okay, and this is one of my clients, Amanda. She is an absolute joy to work with. And I just want to point out a couple of things about the testimonial that she wrote. She says, "Oh my gosh, Jenny straight up saved my life." And obviously, like this is an emergency medicine. She wasn't dying, but what she means is that I gave her her quality of life back because she was feeling so bad before we worked together that she really didn't have a great quality of life, and she was able to get that back, and that made a really big difference in how she felt, restoring her health. So she also says at the bottom, "I don't think I knew how bad I felt until I started feeling better." And that's really important too, because people don't realize how bad they feel until they realize that they're feeling good. And it's just really interesting. Like people don't realize this, but feeling good it's a feeling. Like you actually feel good. A lot of our clients feel okay, or they, got out of bed this morning, but they're uncomfortable, or they're struggling with something, and they're always, feeling a little bit off or overly tired or something. But when you feel good, you're like, oh, wait, I actually like this is a feeling. I love this. I'm feeling great. So that's kind of where Amanda was. Things were really bad for her when we started working together, and we were able to really turn them around with diet changes and some testing. So that was really cool. I loved working with her. And Papa one in the chat, or say that's me if you've been on a wild and crazy health journey. Um, and sometimes you guys, like, I don't know if you feel like this too, but sometimes I look back on my life story and I'm like, oh my gosh, this has been a really wild ride. And I just feel like I've been spit out of like a really crazy water slide and like landed. But then like I can look back at my life and be like, all these twists and turns and like crazy things that happen have been really purposeful. And I'm just in absolute awe for so many ways, and like for so many reasons, that like my story is what it is, and that I've been on the journey that I've been on. Um, and before I get more into my personal story, I just want to point out one more thing about our testimonials, is that people are blown away by how much we care. That's kind of the common thread in all of them. And that's because we're a practice that really does care. We provide a really high level of support for our clients, and we truly care about solving your digestive issues. And we want you to feel better, and we want to be there to support you every step of the way. That's what we really love doing. We know that's not the norm in healthcare, but this is my way of us being the change that I want to see in the world. So, um, just kind of keep that in mind as you're listening to the testimonials tonight. They're really powerful, and the work that we're able to do with people is super impactful. So, um, that's just a really cool thing to get to have this team and be a part of all of this. And we understand, like, our healthcare system, it is broken and it can be very incompetent. We do not slam conventional medicine. We think it's really important. It saves lives. It saved my life. I'm always going to be thankful for that. And we do encourage all of our clients to see their PCP every year. And sometimes we will require you to go get conventional lab work done. Um, so we really practice functional medicine with a strong appreciation and respect for conventional medicine as well. So, my now husband's story started in 2006, which feels like a long time ago. It was 20 years ago. I remember leaving his college apartment one night to go home, and he was having chest pain. And as I was driving home, I just like became really worried because I was like, well, who leaves someone alone when they're having chest pain? Like, I should probably be with him and make sure that he's okay tonight. It was just odd. Um, so that night kind of came and went, and then a year later, he was in graduate school, and we realized that his chest pain was actually acid reflux, and he had to go on medication for that. Um, and then fast forward to 2008, it kept getting worse, and we had just moved to Atlanta. So we're like in our early 20s and in Atlanta and making all these new friends, and the food scene's really big, and we want to go out and have dinner and drinks with friends, and we can't go anywhere because he can't even sit down to eat. Like, his acid reflux was that severe, and the medications really weren't helping. um and we were just both really debilitated by his acid reflux, and no one could give us any answers other than take this pill. Oh, that one didn't work. Try this one. It's similar, but it's not the same. So let's see if it makes a difference. And the GI doctors were really useless. One afternoon, we ended up in the ER, which is a crazy long story I won't go into, but I was showing the doctor in the ER, who was a GI doctor, pictures of my husband's esophagus, which I literally had in my purse because his acid reflux was like, it was so bad that I was just ready to talk about it with anyone and try to get some answers. So I had him in his pictures of his esophagus in my purse from an endoscopy, and I had taken them to school to show one of my nutrition teachers in grad school, and I then had them with me in the ER. And the ER doctor looks at them and he goes, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, like, I have holes in my esophagus too. My esophagus actually looks like Swiss cheese. It's just acid reflux. Like, it's completely fine. It's nothing to worry about." And that for me was a really big turning point. I was like, okay, we're not getting anywhere with these doctors, but like, I don't know what else to do. So that's when I really had to start digging for answers. And as fate would have it, one of my friends was in graduate school with me, and we're studying nutrition. So she had psoriasis, and she did an elimination diet, and when she did this elimination diet, her psoriasis went away. So I was like, well, it feels like a stretch, but if that elimination diet helped with her psoriasis, like, maybe it will help with Blake's acid reflux. So I got connected with the dietitian that she worked with, who's now a good friend and mentor of mine. And we did a blood test to see what foods Blake was having reactions to. And we removed them from his diet. And just like my friend's psoriasis cleared up, his acid reflux actually went away. And we had tried the conventional, like, the foods that you would remove for acid reflux. I mean, find a list on like WebMD. It's like tomatoes, onions, garlic, chocolate, caffeine. Like, those are like the typical foods, but this specialty testing gave us additional information that just completely turned things around for him. And this is the thing, like this picture of us, he was at his absolute worst. And you can't tell that he was miserable. And this is just why I have a really soft spot for the chronically ill, high functioning crowd. Because you guys are getting overlooked a lot, and it's really unfair, and that's what was happening to him. So if nothing else, our team will definitely listen when you say you don't feel well, and we will take note of your symptoms and try to help you put the pieces together. Conventional medicine's not trained to find root causes. They're trained to use medicine, and that can put a band-aid on things and make you more comfortable in the short term. But what Blake needed was to understand why he was having acid reflux, right? So we made some progress with the diet for sure. And then what happened after that, like we were meeting with this dietitian on a regular basis, and she was asking us questions that I never even would have thought to think about. She was asking about his medical history in terms of his birth. Was he a C-section or a vaginal birth? Was he fed formula? Was he fed breast milk? Had he ever been on antibiotics? And that's when there was like a huge aha moment because he was on antibiotics for 3 years in high school. Like 3 years of antibiotics is insane. Like a normal course of like 10 to 14 days will set your microbiome back about 6 months in terms of like healing from that. But 3 years is an insane amount of time to be on antibiotics. And it was when we were in high school, he was on Accutane for acne. So that wrecked his microbiome. And then putting his pieces together a little bit more, I won't get into all the details, but we found out that he has celiac disease and he was eating gluten on top of the wrecked microbiome, on top of stress from graduate school and now, being like a young professional. And then also coming out of college, right? There's pizza, there's beer, it's anything but a gut healing, healthy, nourishing diet. So all of those things together is what got him to the place that he was in. People always think it's one thing. It's never one thing. It's usually multiple things. And that's where the digging and the questions that we ask really come into play and help people. So that was my first case, very up close and personal, but also very helpful. Um, and so when we started doing this work with him, within a year, he was able to come off of all meds and eat normally, minus the gluten. Like I said, he is a celiac, and we have since found it in two others of his family members. That's a genetic condition. So that tracks. And yeah, it took a few years to rebalance his microbiome and to be able to eat things with sugar and not feel terrible. But yeah, like completely normal now, thank God. I'm glad, to have had the resources and be able to put the pieces together and the right people together to be able to help him. And so what I learned from this case and like a strong foundation for our practice would be that, the body can heal itself, but it has to have what it needs to be able to do that. So what we do is we decrease inflammation throughout the body so it can divert all of its resources to healing and repair. We're always looking at balancing the microbiome, and sometimes that means adding in digestive support and being able to identify when there's digestive insufficiencies and also repleting nutrient deficiencies because healing requires energy and nutrients. So we're not going to be able to heal if we are depleted, right? That's a really key piece is nourishment. Nina, definitely stick around for the Q&A. We might be able to help put you on a better path to getting some answers. So yeah, and if you're thinking kind of like Nina is like, I wish they could diagnose something, but I've never gotten any answers. We have lots of testing. We have incredible insight, amazing training. We can probably help or at least point you in the right direction. If we're not the right place for you, we can at least tell you. So yeah, or you might be feeling like, well, that's great, but I've tried everything and my doctor said my condition has nothing to do with my diet and elimination diets are overwhelming. They never seem to help. At one point, like Blake and I would have agreed with all of these statements and we felt the same way. Um, but once we had the specialty testing and could really see the foods that were causing problems for him, and were able to remove them and he could actually start to make some progress, we were just blown away. So, testing for a personalized approach with really looking at medical history versus just general recommendations makes a huge difference. And, we're not on, I mean, our sessions are, usually an hour and a half. But we're not on a 15-minute clock like at the doctor's office. So we actually have time to do the digging and develop the relationship and really get to know you guys on a personal level. So all of that helps us make progress. So our most successful clients are coachable and willing to take action. Always focus on progress, not perfection. And then don't let your self-doubt stop you. So don't get in your own way from having what it is that you want. And I promise you guys, even if you think you've tried everything, we've worked with thousands of clients at this point, and we've successfully solved thousands of digestive problems. So our functional nutrition testing helps us identify and correct imbalances in the digestive tract and decrease inflammation throughout the body. It's a total game changer. So don't get in your own way. Don't let self-doubt stop you. You're not, all of our clients come in and they're like secretly afraid. They tell us later, like, I really thought I was like the one defective person that you couldn't help. Or I really felt like I was the only one who was always going to have to live and suffer with digestive problems. So if you're thinking that, a lot of our clients think that, and it's not the case. Just some basic testing and, some diet changes can go a really long ways. So you're not defective, you're not flawed, you're not the only one suffering with digestive issues. And then another way I like to look at things like this is, if you've been diagnosed with something like IBS, it can take several months or even a year or more to just get the diagnosis once you start seeking care. And sometimes people avoid going to the doctor because they're embarrassed. A lot of people, even with IBS, can trace their symptoms all the way back to childhood. And this can add up to so many years, you're talking 25 plus years of suffering. Um, so just kind of think about like the course of your life and future pace. Like, what do you want things to look like next year? What do you want things to look like this summer? What do you want things to look like at the holidays? And try to imagine your future without digestive issues because that's where we're able to get people. Being afraid of food is not normal. Like, navigating your entire life around your next bowel movement, not normal. Knowing where all the bathrooms are on the way to work, not okay. So just kind of think about how nice it would feel to go to a restaurant and eat whatever you want without fear and with confidence. That's where we want you to be. And imagine going to the bathroom on a regular schedule. A lot of our clients don't even know what that is, so we're going to talk about that in a minute. But just high level, it's 1 to 3 times a day. Bowel movement should be easy and leave you feeling satisfied and completely emptied. So that's key. A lot of our clients start working with us, and the doctors never even ask them to identify what their bowel movements look like, and they don't even know what a normal bowel movement is because they haven't had one in 35 plus years. So that's kind of another key thing that we see a lot with people.
All right. So yes, truly, solving digestive problems is really like putting a puzzle together. And we really do see a lot of big pieces that are missing with our clients prior to coming to us. Even after going to see well-meaning, well-educated practitioners, but they just aren't asking the right questions or they just aren't connecting the dots. So we like to get to know you on a holistic level by completing a functional nutrition assessment so that we can really figure out why your gut is in the state that it's in by uncovering more of those puzzle pieces to help us determine what that underlying cause is. So if you decide to work with us, of course, we're going to talk about diet and exercise, but we'll also be talking to you about things that you may not have even ever considered that were related to digestive health. So we will have a comprehensive intake form that's going to include things like your full medical history, if you've had any kind of trauma like head or neck injuries. We want to see lab work and testings to be fully comprehensive. And then things like your lifestyle, motivations, and environmental factors. And this is just to name a few things. And so, you know, if you're suffering from one of these conditions that are up here on the screen, then you're in the right place. We do specialize in gut-related issues like the ones listed here on the screen, but we also deeply understand the whole body on a functional level. So we don't limit ourselves just to the gut, but you will learn that everything does stem from the gut. So that's where we start. All right, like Jenny was talking about, we're gonna look at this Bristol stool chart. All right, so we are dietitians that work with digestive health, so we talk about poop every day. So we're gonna get on the same page about what a normal bowel movement is. Like Jenny was saying, some people may have never been asked, or maybe they've never known. So it's a really good place to start, and that's where we want to start things and get things going. We know that talking about poop can be awkward, but a lot of clients really appreciate this chart and getting an idea of what it should be like. So just so you know, what's normal would be considered type 3 and 4. Frequency should be 1 to 3 times per day, really to support the healthy digestion and elimination of toxins. Bowel movements should feel complete and elimination is easy, no straining. So that's our goal. Yeah, so if you've gone the conventional route, you'll be lucky if the doctor gives you a general diet guideline, like maybe go follow low FODMAP or remove spicy foods and carbonated beverages, kind of like Jenny was saying earlier. But it'll likely leave you having more questions and not knowing how to implement it for yourself. Now, we know that the conventional route is an approach is needed, and it is necessary sometimes, like at a typical GI doctor's office, maybe to rule out something more serious like IBD or cancer. But a lot of times, this approach is going to focus on just solving the digestive problems by just treating the symptoms. And so symptoms might improve, but because they aren't fully addressed and resolved, they might come back or new ones might come up. So a lot of times patients feel like it's just a pill for an ill and they're never getting to the true root cause. All right, so I want to hear from all of you tonight. So if you want to pop in the chat, I'd love to hear how long you've been suffering from digestive issues and maybe what solutions you have already tried. A lot of our patients get told things like this on the screen, digestive problems are normal. Try this medication. It's all in your head. Just take Miralax and eat more fiber. And a lot of times that just leaves people feeling defeated because maybe they've already tried all of these things. So we want you to know that we know what it feels like and you're not alone and we see you. So I want to give you just a little bit of insight into what actually causes digestive problems. So we have several here on the screen. So I'm going to go over a few. So food sensitivities can cause low-grade inflammation. So instead of nourishing you, it's actually putting fuel on the fire. Poor diet, stress is a big one, medications, imbalance of good and bad bacteria. And this can't just be fixed with just, a general probiotic. Taking a probiotic without knowing what's really going on can actually make things worse. Parasites are actually quite common, but they can be hard to detect, which is why in our clinic we do 3 separate stool samples to increase the chances of detecting them. And then, of course, lack of digestive support and nutrient deficiencies. And so, it's really important that we're looking at these root causes. Oh, I'm seeing y'all in the chat now. Yeah, so constipation for years, Miralax and prunes juices, SIBO, eczema, on a PPI. Yeah, we hear this stuff all the time, so we're here to help you guys. Thanks
Yeah, and
for
I just,
participating.
sorry, I can get past Karen, the SIBO in 2022 and again in 25/26. SIBO, it's really common for it to come back. The kind of the secret with working with it is that you have to understand why you got it. So if the reason that you got it isn't addressed, it probably will come back. There's a really high recurrence rate, but we have lots of things and that we do that when we're working with someone with SIBO that we're intentionally doing to make sure it doesn't return. So you've just got to get with the right provider, whether it's us or someone else. You need someone with specialty SIBO training. Again, we all on our team have worked really closely with it and have training in GI issues on a functional level. So that's sometimes, and someone's doctor in here in the chat doesn't know how to test for it, which is frustrating. But for some reason, it's more of a functional medicine thing, or recognized more with functional versus conventional medicine, but it's definitely something that we want to address properly. So yeah, definitely stick around tonight. We can do a Q&A for you on that too. But yes, it is small. Yes, Fad repeated exactly what I said. I wasn't even looking at that. Yeah, yep, totally normal in terms of what we see people with recurring SIBO cases.
Yeah. So next up, we have some really interesting statistics. So I get the feeling that this might not surprise some of you since you've been struggling, but these are can be a little mind-blowing. So I want to go over these and really just let you know that, like I said, we see you're not alone. So in the US, 10 to 15% of adults are affected by IBS, but only about 5 to 7 are ever diagnosed. And a majority of IBS patients would trade 10 to 15 years of their life expectancy for instant cure. That's the one that gets me. And then that's where we really are trying to give that quality of life back. And then lastly, 10 years after diagnosis, 50 to 70% of patients are reporting continued symptoms, which comes back to never truly addressing the root cause. So we just want you to know that wherever you are at in your journey, please know you're not alone. We're here to help you, and we don't want you to become one of these statistics, but unfortunately, we do see it every day, and that's really what fuels us.
All right, who is ready to get to the bottom of their digestive problems? I am going to jump in and talk about 3 powerful, actionable strategies that you can implement today. I can't help but also see some comments here about eczema and bladder infections. And, sometimes our GI symptoms don't present like issues. However, we have all these other things pop up, autoimmune being one as well. And you guys are in the right place looking at the gut and trying to get to that root cause of what's going on. So let's
Yeah,
dive
and
in.
I love what's going on in the chat right now because people are into their test results, they're talking to their doctors, they're trying to work with them, they're aware of their labs. So this is a really awesome group of people. You guys are doing a good job. I think we're going to have some things tonight that can really be helpful for you. No, sorry.
Okay, so we're going to start out with leaky gut. I'm guessing a lot of you have heard of this, but maybe don't really understand why this is such a big deal. What's happening is that intestinal lining is becoming more permeable than it really should. To feel our best, to reduce inflammation, we need that gut lining to be really selective on what it allows through. But there are common things that can cause the gut to be more leaky, especially if you already have some underlying issues. So, diet, as you can imagine, plays a massive role. Things like gluten and dairy, excessive sugar, processed carbs can really irritate that gut lining and really need to be watched while we're healing. I saw some people also comment just about the limited diet they're on. Our whole goal is to get you as much variety as possible. So we take the approach of slowly adding things back. But, we look back at things like medications, especially those antibiotics. NSAIDs are another really big one. They're necessary in ways, but we have to really help. That goes back to that maybe root cause. We're exposed to toxins in our plastics, in our food containers, our self-care products, our cleaning products that's in our air and our water. So our current society does not make it easy to heal the gut. And then one of the biggest pitfalls is ignoring symptoms, hoping they magically disappear. And unfortunately, they often get worse. So hopefully you can be aware of these pitfalls at least and take some proactive steps here. And then we do need to cover basics. We need to conquer these first. These are things we come back to, making sure that they're in the right place because it's part of the foundation. So focusing on whole foods, those proteins, healthy fats, plenty of vegetables, all of those things are needed to heal the body. If you're dealing with some of those chronic digestive issues, sticking with more cooked veggies versus the raw for a while, cutting out processed foods, hopefully you guys are all doing that or at least aware of that. But it really isn't just about what you eat. We can't stress enough how much stress management plays a big role. Getting enough sleep, regular movement, all of those things change our gut microbiome. We often also recommend eating less frequently. I saw someone comment about fasting, and I'm going to get to that on the migrating motor complex a little bit later. But when we constantly are feeding our gut, it doesn't give us the gut lining time to clean up and heal. So we understand these habits probably sound simple, maybe not easy to implement, but we understand it can be a struggle with everything else, all the different priorities in life. But again, we come back to these basics. They're fundamental for really allowing the body to heal. So if you are already nailing all these habits and still not seeing results, don't worry. We have a lot more advanced strategies we're going to get into. So this one, it always shocks people when we talk about how many times do you chew your food? I'd be curious, has anybody really counted how many times they chew their food? It's really one of those unsung heroes. Some of the most important parts of digestion are not supplements or special diets. They're really how the body functions. So chewing, it's where the digestion begins. And we want to chew our food on average about 34 times. That's a lot, right? So I definitely challenge you to go ahead at your next meal and try chewing each mouthful 34 times. What it's doing, and think about this while you're chewing maybe, it's signaling enzymes and releasing stomach acid. It's improving your nutrient absorption, and it actually is helping prevent bacterial overgrowth. Saliva has enzymes to help break down bacterial overgrowth. So simply slowing down, chewing thoroughly, those things can dramatically change how your gut feels. The migrating motor complex that I mentioned before, it's this built-in cleaning system. And what it does is it works between meals. So it sweeps over leftover food and bacteria that's in the digestive tract. So that's why spacing out meals is going to be important. And the vagus nerve. This is that conductor of digestion. This is what coordinates the movement and digestive secretions. So when we're stressed, we have a really weak signal in our vagus nerve. And we work all the time on practices that will help and work really specifically with you, whether it be breathing, relaxation, gentle stimulation. And so what we have found is these systems really make a big difference. And like I said, things we actively work on and personalize through our sessions. Okay, now we're going to talk about some gut healing and how it starts with foundational foods. And on the top of the list is bone broth. Bone broth provides key building blocks to healing that gut lining. So it's full of amino acids, collagen, gelatin, minerals, and often missing really from our modern diets. And what we like is it's really gentle, but really nourishing. So it can be handled by most people. And it's one of the simplest ways. You don't have to cook a meal. You can just heat up a cup of bone broth. And from there, we talk about other foods to layer in as well. Not everybody can handle it right off the bat, but fermented foods can be really helpful. Seeds, plants, herbs, they can calm inflammation and improve that gut environment. And just know no one food works in isolation. We have to pull all these things together. And it's about knowing what to use, when to use it, and how it uniquely fits your gut needs. And that's what we can definitely help you decipher. And here is one of our favorite. So there are a lot of bone broths out there, and maybe some of you have said, I've tried bone broth and really dislike it. I challenge you to give this one a try. It tastes absolutely delicious. What we do at times is replace a meal with some of this bone broth. Okay, so I did get okay, I'll wait for the questions. I'll just keep moving ahead. Okay, so on to tip 3 is test, don't guess. This is really the fastest way to see results. So if you've been battling these issues, it sounds like a lot of you for a long time, no relief, no one's listening, no answers through conventional testing, this really can be a game changer. And the reason is your gut is as unique as your fingerprint. And without proper testing, it's like we're trying to solve this complex puzzle kind of blindfolded. That's why testing is crucial, really, for persistent digestive problems. There's no way to get this level of detailed, personalized information about your gut without it. So we do offer various testing, and we tailor our recommendations to your specific situation. And with these insights, we target and treat issues more quickly. So it's like a custom roadmap for your gut health. So if you're serious about resolving digestive issues, this is not just helpful, but really essential. And I'm not trying to overwhelm you with this one. This is where we come in and decipher all of these tests for you, but I wanted to show you a quick peek at what test results do look like. Tons of unique data. You can see we do food sensitivity testing, stool testing, micronutrient and toxin testing, SIBO broth testing, celiac gluten sensitivity, and other custom blood labs, hormone testing, CGMs with blood sugar monitoring, all of the above. So hopefully that wasn't too overwhelming. What I want you to take away from today is first, cover those basics. Choose an area that you might be lacking and take one step to be stronger there. You don't have to do it all at once. Then support digestion through that migrating motor complex, the vagus nerve, and chewing more. And then eat more gut healing foods that you can handle, like high quality bone broth. And test, don't guess.
Thank you, Erica. And yes, these are tests that we can send to people anywhere. So if you are out of state, then we can still send it to you, and we can even help you find a lab if it's something that requires getting blood work done. Okay, so this is my case study. So this is an email that I got from a client. It was a couple years ago, but it's a really interesting case, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. So, this client is the mother of someone else that I had worked with, and her daughter had gotten great results. And she knew that when her diarrhea started on December 20th of 2022, that she needed help. So she had a colonoscopy. The diarrhea started in December. She had a colonoscopy in March, and she was diagnosed with collagenous colitis, and it was treated with a steroid. The steroid made a difference, but she had a suspicion that she probably had food sensitivities and wanted to do some testing. So a few things to point out here that you're not going to get from the slide are that this is a 77-year-old female, and she wasn't willing to settle for not feeling well. She wasn't opposed to working with us despite the fact that we don't take insurance, and she was on a fixed income because she understood that, the insurance model in conventional care wasn't helping her. So she was destined with this, conventional care to just be trying different medications for the rest of her life. And that also can get very expensive and time consuming. And then she was also dealing with some unwanted side effects. So she decided to invest in her health and in herself. And she knew that working with us would take time and dedication, but she was ready and willing to prepare her own food, take supplements, and invest in testing if needed. And something that is probably going to be overlooked here is that she's also very intuitive. She said, I think I probably have food sensitivities or allergies. So you're going to see this in a second. And because we covered the basics, but she was on a medication with a known side effect of diarrhea. So I reach out to her doctor, who I was also, she's kind of in our network, and I said, hey, this patient that we're sharing is on this medication. It has a side effect of diarrhea. Can we remove it just to make sure that we're not going to go through with all this advanced fancy testing if it's just her medication that's causing the diarrhea? So just, you guys, start there, and you don't have to jump to the big, the big stuff. Like, it could just be something as simple as a medication. So the medication was removed. It was not the medication. She continued to have diarrhea up to 8 times a day, twice at night. So she's not sleeping, and it's hard to leave the house. Like, this is just miserable. And because she is so sweet, she faithfully went on a yoga retreat in Greece with a friend and could not leave her hotel room the whole time. And then, in the middle of coordinating her care plan, she got COVID, fell and hit her head, had to have back surgery. The diarrhea flared again, and she had to go on another round of steroids. So our clients are so resilient and so determined. Um, what we did is we came up with a customized plan where she did food sensitivity testing, a stool test, and a micronutrient test. And then I gave her a meal plan in the meantime with some easy to digest gut healing foods. And then in October, once we were finally able to get back together after all the crazy things that had happened with her, she sent me this email. The subject line was amazing. She says, hey, the trot stopped. No night trips to the bathroom. Previously, I had been 4 to 5 times a day with 2 of them at night. What a difference. Something tells me, again, the diarrhea might be food related. Chunky Monkey oatmeal was awesomely yummy this morning, and a humongous thank you. So she was thrilled. Her symptoms improved with pretty simple diet changes. And what we learned from the testing was she was reacting to honeydew melon, which she was eating every single morning, and also caffeine. Those were very inflammatory for her. So cutting back on those foods and just taking them out of her diet turned things around almost instantly. Another issue that she had was a lot of itching that also began to resolve with diet. She did have some overgrowth of harmful bacteria on her stool test, so we did a special supplement protocol for that. And she needed a lot of antioxidant support on her micronutrient test, and her magnesium was low. So we supplemented and had a special protocol in that area as well. And what's, just so amazing is that she was so dedicated to the process is she didn't let anything get in her way. Because she didn't want to keep living with chronic diarrhea because, it's just such a poor quality of life. So I'm really glad we were able to help her and get her some results. We've had such an awesome group tonight. I really appreciate all of the stuff in the chat, and we're going to get to the Q&As at the end. Are you guys having a good time and finding this information valuable? I really hope so. You can pop a yes in the chat. And we actually we don't have time to share everything we could ever. Yeah, you guys are so great. Thank you. We don't have time to share everything that we can do tonight. But we do have an opportunity for you guys this evening, where we can get with you and help you start making progress on your health goals. Thanks, Velda. So let me kind of show you guys what we have, and this is just for people attending the webinar this evening. We've developed a gut healing strategy session, and this is a really cool opportunity to meet one-on-one with one of my dietitians to start working on a customized solution to your digestive problems. And this is an opportunity for you to uncover what's really holding you back from transforming your health. So you get to help put your own puzzle pieces together. And what you're going to do, these sessions are really eye-opening, and we usually have a lot of aha moments. We're going to help you develop a customized solution to your digestive problems based on your intake form. And our goal for you would be for you to stop suffering from digestive problems. So you'll meet with one of my dietitians for an hour and work on putting your pieces together so we can help you develop a plan to finally stop suffering from digestive issues. So what we include with this, it's a complete functional nutrition assessment. So we're going to go through a pretty long form and really look at your history and medications and try to figure out, what's really causing your symptoms. You're going to get a better understanding of why you have digestive problems. We're going to give you clear, actionable steps for solving your digestive problems. You're going to get meal plan and recipe ideas, customized lab and supplement recommendations, and support and encouragement to make healthy changes a part of your lifestyle. And honestly, if all this session did was increase energy and help you lose a few pounds, or even just improve the frequency of your digestive distress, would it be worth it? I think a lot of you tonight would agree that it would be. And we're also throwing in some really awesome bonuses and special pricing just for being here tonight. So the goal is for you guys to be able to live without discomfort and digestive problems, and stress around food. So this is a chance to have someone look at your entire picture and try to put all the pieces together, and you get to help with that. You're very much working with one of us. You're going to be part of your own healthcare team. Um, so what we normally do, our initial session working with us is usually $299, but tonight the gut healing strategy session is just 97. And we have a limited number of spots available, but we're really working on expanding our reach because we know there's just so many people out there that we truly can help, and we're really passionate about that. So we've got also a meal planning membership that we're throwing in, as well as we're going to look at previous testing that you've had done. And also, you get up to 10% off of our signature program if you are a good fit for that. So you're really getting a lot just for being here tonight for just $97. It's actually over $1,900 in savings. And yeah, it's a really cool opportunity. You can book. Jordan, will you put the link to book in the chat, please? Um, oh, and this is, go ahead, Erica. This is one of your clients.
Yeah. Okay, so we had this client come to us, Klein, who had been struggling with IBS for 20 years. He was really skeptical because he had tried a lot of different things, but we knew we could help. And our approach, as hopefully you've understood tonight, is going to that root cause of his issues. And I was able to trace back to when he started in the Marine Corps. The training is very intense and it really is trauma on the body. And he had identified, yep, that is the time when all of the things started. So then we can go from there and learn what to start doing. So a lot of the triggers, the emotional stress, the motility piece, we will definitely talk. I have another one in here that it goes more into the severe constipation. So I'll get to that in a minute. But what he was, I mean, he was amazed with how fast he saw results too. He worked at different locations all the time. So he really enjoyed the virtual sessions. He often took them from his car and had to have things on the go that would work for him. So we really worked with his busy lifestyle. And not only did he see his IBS improve, but he was shocked when he went back to his primary care and all of his health labs improved, his metabolic, his lipids. And he just felt so rewarded. I still keep in touch with him. He'll reach out every once in a while at his annual physical and just say how well he is still doing. So another example of someone like starting out super skeptical because they've seen it all and just seeing how, I think the biggest takeaway for him, he felt just so empowered and in control of his digestive issues after working together.
Awesome. Thanks, Erica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so if you guys are thinking about booking a gut healing strategy session, it does come with a money back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. If you meet with one of my dietitians and walk away from your session feeling like you didn't get anything out of it and it was a complete waste of your time, we do refund your money. So if you're not happy, you get your money back, so you don't have anything to lose by signing up. And I think this is a really cool image to kind of demonstrate what's happening here. It's really making the decision to attend one of our gut healing strategy sessions is taking a step to transforming. And it's a really powerful move in the direction of change, and it's breaking out of old patterns and beliefs and beginning to embrace new ones. And I think this is really interesting too. There's definitely a quality of life and financial toll to having digestive issues. Um, So, 10 to 15% of people in the US are affected by IBS, and, um, 25 to 35% of that group has depression and anxiety. There's a decreased productivity of 11 days per month from people with IBS, and On average, you might miss 3.5 basically days a week from work or school. The out-of-pocket spend just managing symptoms is over $1,000. And it takes months or years just to get diagnosed. And when I think about that, I'm thinking about like doctor's appointments, time away from work and family, arranging childcare, and also, the stress awaiting test results, procedures, the cost of medication. So there's a big cost just to getting a diagnosis. Um, let's see here. And Erica, we're having some scheduling questions, no times through March. I'll show you guys, I'll do a demonstration in a minute on how to schedule a session. There's like a green bubble that's around available dates. I know Erica and Katherine both have availability maybe the end of this week, but definitely the next 2 weeks in February. So if you're not seeing that, I will show you guys how to do that in a second.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump in here and have one more patient here. This is Ginny, a fantastic client of mine. She really wanted to understand what was going on with her body, and no one could tell her. She didn't want to end up like a lot of her family members on medications with many diagnoses, and she saw herself heading in that direction. She had tried many different things, cutting out alcohol, taking out processed foods. And she was one of those that just had chronic constipation. She doesn't even know when she went to the bathroom normally. She would go maybe once a week. If she was lucky, maybe twice. What we did for her was stool testing and food sensitivity testing. Her bowel movements became normal, meaning going every single day within 1 month. And the trick to it is really figuring out, again, what the root cause is. So there can be motility issues, there can be fiber issues. We have to be very careful on how we incorporate that. But she gained energy too that she didn't realize she didn't have. That's one of the things that Jenny had talked about earlier. And then at the end of our program, she started to lose that stubborn weight as well. She was also worried about that busy schedule, not being able to stick to each session and break it all down. But we were able to definitely make that work for her, optimize her health. And she is now working with me on optimization and thriving instead of worrying about when she's going to have her next bowel movement.
Awesome. Love it. Okay, so booking appointments. I know we're having some issues with this, so I will go ahead and share my screen and show you guys how to do that. Well, actually, I'll go through this and then I'll do a live demo because we do have some screenshots here. Yes, we have February openings for the gut healing strategy sessions. I don't think we have any of those available in March, but if you have a scheduling conflict and need something, you can always email Jordan and she can help you get on the schedule for that. Raymond, everything is done virtually. So we would be on a video session, just like we are right now, except it would just be one-on-one if you were to book a session. Okay, so you're going to go to the web address, which it sounds like a lot of you are at, or scan the QR code. I think this works better for people at their computers. You're going to pick a dietitian to work with. My schedule is full, so don't pick me. Erica and Katherine both have availability. And you're going to click, so you can do it by dietitian or you can click on book now. And then where you see the green bubbles here, so this is last month, but we have, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th would all have green bubbles. So you pick a date and then there will be a time menu that drops down below. And then you'll be prompted to enter your information on the next page to book the session. And then you'll enter your credit card information to secure the session for $97. And once your appointment has been scheduled, you'll be taken to this page, which lets you know that we've received your appointment request and we'll be approving them tonight. I'm hearing a couple, I think, come through right now. And once it's approved, you'll get an email confirmation confirming the day and time of your appointment. So what it's going to look like when you get that email is that you want to check your inbox for another email from us with forms to complete before your first appointment. Make sure you do this. I think that, the title of the email is New Forms to Complete. make sure you fill out your paperwork, or it's online forms, it's not paperwork, but fill it out because that is going to help you get a lot further in your session. So that's super important to make sure you get those forms completed. And yeah, let me pull this down for a second and just make sure everyone is getting what they need here. Hang on. Let's see, all these things popping up. Let me just stop. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Yeah, so I can demo this. Let's see. Okay, so again, this is what it's going to look like. You pick the day and time that works best for you. If you click on the green bubble, a time will pop up at the bottom, or multiple times, depending on the day. And then you'll be prompted to fill out your information on the next page, and the following page will take the credit card that's needed to secure your appointment. So yeah, I'll bounce back into the questions. Yeah, and Buffy, just save those for a couple minutes, and or you can email them to us, or you're welcome to ask them during the Q&A that we're going to have in a few minutes. Let's see. Okay, so here, this is another really cool way to kind of think about things, I think. It's kind of like you're choosing a path, right? You're either going to keep doing the same thing, and whether that's looking around for the right provider, trying to solve digestive problems with people that only take insurance, trying one more probiotic, one more supplement, maybe finally buying the Squatty Potty, whatever, or just basically continuing in some form to live with your symptoms. Or you can book this strategy session where it's $97 and you have absolutely nothing to lose, because if it's not happy, we'll give you your money back. And start moving the needle forward on transformational change. And that's really what we want for you guys, is to get better. You don't have to suffer with digestive issues. There's so much that you can do to make them better. So choosing the strategy session is what's going to move you forward on this path to transformational change. And if you don't take action, 5 to 10 years down the road, you're going to be exactly where you are if you're lucky. Because again, inflammation, which underlies a lot of GI issues, is also the underlying cause of things that are much worse to deal with, like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease, autoimmune diseases. And one of my favorite quotes is, "The body whispers before it screams." So digestive issues can be considered a whisper. The screams would be like the cancer or the autoimmune diagnosis, or the heart disease, the things that are much worse. So just pay attention now, and work on things before they continue to get worse. And then also, life is just so short and fragile and precious. We don't want you guys to miss out on another vacation, or like my client earlier, a yoga retreat in Greece where you're just stuck in the bathroom the whole time, or having to say no to another dinner party because you don't feel like you can eat anything if you go, or missing out on travel, can't ride on a plane because you have to go to the bathroom too frequently. We want you to get the answers that you need to heal so that you can live the life that you were made for and really reach your full potential. And we don't want anything to stop you from doing that. So I think at this point we can agree that you're experiencing digestive problems, you want answers to be able to solve them. And ultimately, what I think everyone wants is freedom, right? Be able to go to the restaurant and order whatever you want and feel great the next day and feel fine the rest of the evening. Yeah, and that's really our goal, is for people to solve their digestive issues and be able to liberalize their diet and have just a great relationship with food. So again, the gut healing strategy session, it's a chance to meet with someone who listens and cares and wants to help you feel your best. And the point is that you're going to get clear and actionable steps to start solving your digestive problems. So by the end of the session, we'll be able to say, I think this is why you're suffering from this. Here's your next steps. And that's just so eye-opening, and there's just such value in understanding why you are where you are and what you need to do to get out of it. And that's really the whole point with the gut healing strategy session. And again, there's a money back guarantee. If you're not happy afterwards, we will refund your money. And then there's actually a fast action bonus too. So you get a chance, if you're one of the first 10 to schedule, to get an extra 5 to 10% off of our signature program should you qualify for that, which could be another $1,000 in savings. So, we're looking at the discount with the session, and then we're throwing in a $90 value meal planning membership, a previous testing analysis, and then the discounts on the signature program. All of those things have value that we're just waiving because we want you guys to be able to just get in and book a session and make this really affordable and accessible and get the answers that you need to heal. Yeah, and I think that we are ready to move into the Q&A. Go ahead, Erica.
I was going to say, if everybody before their session really can like upload documents, fill out all their forms, and activate their account. So that's the one key piece. Like if you miss activating your account, right when you booked your session, you should get something to activate it. That's going to help so you can see everything in the portal. It's just going to make our first session go that much more smoothly.
Cool. Okay. This was a great group. Thank you guys so much for participating. And I'm so glad that you guys are all taking an active role in your health. This was really great tonight. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.